Hey everybody, it's Tim Sackett back with another edition of HR Famous. Well, before we get into that, we want to talk about the sponsor of this show, Kinetics, and our great friend, the CHRO, Chris Dunn, is here with us, along with our friend Jessica Lee. Chris, you had a big hire at the Kinetics World Headquarters in Atlanta. They're actually working remotely with you in Birmingham. It's a friend of the show, Dawn Burke. Talk to me. What's Dawn going to be doing at Kinetics?
Well, she's going to be the VP of Talent Consulting, Tim. We're excited about it. She's going to lead the marketing team, which right now does like the vast majority of the employment branding stuff we do. And It's something she's talented in, but she's also going to help us on the consulting side. Got a lot of plans. We have a lot to do, like that's already in the hopper. And as anything, this is just representative of how we hire at Kinetics, Tim. This is from the not messing around school. Like you just go out and get the best. You're a baseball. You're a baseball guy. 5-tool like player.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Does a lot of things well. Yeah. Go get it done. That's what we did.
By the way, Katie, I sent you an article today talking. It's a really good RPO article, kind of the breakdown of what's good, bad with RPO, what you should be looking for. One of those things, and I sent it to you because of this, because one of the downfalls of most RPO companies, but not of KineticsHR.com, is that they don't do employment branding really well. It's almost a specialty of what you guys do at Kinetics.
Yeah, so we do employment branding. Thanks for bringing that up, Tim. What's really interesting about the employment branding space is we build career sites and do content for people. We have but we also have some like flexible stuff we do. Like we just onboarded a new client that because of just like the political nature of trying to get a new career site done, like in a big organization, we're just like flipping the script and we're going off script to really rebuild like all the comms and all the marketing like materials for their referral program. And if there's one thing I know Tim Sackett likes, it's really the value of referrals. Did I set you up there? Go ahead and knock it out of the park.
Oh my God. It's the most underutilized, highest ROI hires that we can have. Referrals. JLee, I know Marriott loves referrals. You guys do a ton of referral stuff there.
Ton of referrals, but there's a balance, right? You can't have too many. You gotta, I think there's a threshold. Otherwise, homogeny.
Yeah. Well, we know.
That's the right word? Homogeny?
Isn't that something to do with milk? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna get this puppy started. Cam, hit the music. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to HR Famous. I'm Tim Sackett with my friends Jessica Lee and Chris Dunn. Jessica, we've been amiss on updating you on some really big news, and that news was, I think we mentioned this on the pod a few pods ago, that KD and I were going to go spend some time in Utah, and we were going to climb mountains, and we were going to contemplate the world as we see it, and then come back with really big ideas and dreams of what we did. So we did that. And what I found out is that Katie might be a little fearful of heights.
No way. Really? Like he's so tall. Like, how can a tall person?
I think that's what happens is when you get on top of a mountain and you're tall, you feel like you're way tall then. And then, you feel like the wind's going to blow you off. KD, how do you respond?
So you're bringing me in on the public shame thing.
Are you afraid of heights? Is that
true? This is healthy. So JLee, I have this program that's part of the Dunn household, and we actually have T-shirts like on this, and the T-shirts say, and F stands for a certain word, but it says F the last 40 feet. And it's words that I live by. So what I like to do is I like to go up 1,960 feet. And I have this amazing view, and I'm not at peril of falling like 500 feet. And I'm good. I'm good. When I get 40 feet from the top and I already see the view, and I see 99% of the view without the threat of falling off a cliff, I'm good.
The lovely Angela Dunn did not bring her shirt that said F the last 40 feet. She went all the way to the top.
She didn't get the memo.
Yeah. She didn't get the memo to that.
That's tough.
So no, we had a great time out there climbing mountains, and doing all that. But we also have to talk about the HR famous drink concept that we were bringing back from Utah. So my wife, JLee, and you guys, I don't know if you guys have these in the DC area, but it's like almost like a storage container size building. All they do is serve like cold, like drinks with flavor. So like Diet Coke, but you can get in cherry, vanilla, coconut, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then they also, like, the one that she was in love with out there is called Swig, and they serve cookies, and then they serve these drinks, and you can basically, they have a bunch of them. So like I get Diet Mountain Dew with like raspberry, mango, and strawberry or whatever, right? You can get any kind of combinations. For whatever reason, the Mormons love coconut in their drink. I do think the reason these drink places are so big in obviously in Utah is because the Mormons don't drink alcohol. And so then they go crazy on these cookies and these sugary drinks. But like, I think we were trying to get, so then my wife loves this. We have to go like every day. Katie and Andrew are out there, so she can't wait to show everybody these drinks. And they're just kind of looking at it going, so wait a minute. The concept is like you can get a gas station drink and put some like flavors in it. And then we're gonna wait in line here, and there's kids come out and like have like an iPad and they take your order. And but Katie, well, you're all in on the concept. You like the concept.
I love the concept. I did some like set combination that they did off Mountain Dew, and I was underwhelmed. I think I didn't get the right combination for me. I think I'd have to go again. JLee, the big thing is, would you, like, based on what you've heard about this concept, would you spend $50,000 to $100,000 for a franchise? Is it a franchise you can get behind?
If there is no caffeine or alcohol, I could not.
No. Is there caffeine?
Is there caffeine?
Yeah.
Is there alcohol? Is there I just
no alcohol, but I will say, hey, some of these drinks would be very good with rum or vodka,
or Everclear.
No, if there maybe if there were like a kid, I could buy into it was like marketed and angled for children, like
candy cigarettes, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. I mean, I loved candy cigarettes when I was younger.
I will tell you, my entire family loves it. And Katie, you have to there was always a line, like a crazy line to get to these places.
It's like a Chick-fil-A line. Really.
Yeah, I love Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so this is like the Chick-fil-A, but for drinks and cookies.
I don't know. There's a shelf life there. It's a fad.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy concept to copy. That's what Katie and I talked about this for days on end as we were on top of mountains determining what our pivot move was going to be.
Almost on top of mountains, Tim.
But like, also, if you're mixing like Mountain Dew with all these other flavors, does that just not turn the drink brown? Like, what happens to the color? Huh? That's weird.
No. Yeah.
You probably don't want to see the drink once they mix it up.
By the way, their most famous one. The drink they're known for is called the Dirty Dr. Pepper, the Triple D. So it's Dr. Pepper. I think it's vanilla and coconut. I don't know. I don't drink it because I don't like all vanilla and the coconut. But my family likes it. They get it. They usually go with like half coconut. I don't really understand the fascination with coconut in these drinks places. I'm not a coconut guy. And
it's supposed to be hydrating. Replenish. Coconut
maybe
has
that's it.
Properties.
Okay. So there's a lot of, it's a very dry place to go. So anyways, Katie and I went on vacation, found out that we can vacation well together. I mean, at least I thought that.
Mm-hmm. Had a great time. Tim and Kim Sackett were outstanding hosts. Thank you, Tim.
You'd like to be. Yeah. All right.
Hey, so by the way, St. George, Utah, just heard from somebody else kind of in our HR community that they were thinking about relocating from LA to St. George. They have family members there. I told them I was just there. Full endorsement. Just so beautiful. Right size too, about 100 in the metro. So if you're going to get away, enough to have some stuff, but not so big that it's ever going to get, thick.
Wait, did you stay with Tim or did you stay at a hotel?
Tim, would you like to take that?
Well, where we have our house, it's part of called the Inn at Entrada, and part of us owning the house there and then renting it out. Troon actually is the management company. They allow us then to rent other houses for really nothing besides the amount that it costs to clean it. So we were able to get Katie and Ange their own place. So they were able to have their own, time away. The Sackett's run hot on vacation. We do a lot. Do you think, Katie, we do a lot?
It's about right for us. That's what we want. Yeah. We want to be active.
Like you're busy, you're active.
Yeah. It's like, it's like you don't go on vacation with the Sackett's to just like get up at noon and hit the pool, et cetera, like,
and read a book.
Probably can't see my arms, but it's like
it's a 9
a.m. You're like
9 a.m. hike. It's gonna be about a 3-hour hike. On the way back, we're probably going to hit some lunch, go to the pool. We might do some pickleball. Then we have dinner like at 7. Maybe a good wholesome movie around 9 o'clock.
I will never vacation with you. We plan to have one activity at most per day. I can't anything more.
No, you know what? Kim and I keep talking about this because we go on vacation, and so far when we be out in St. George, we always have like people coming, and we want to show them everything. We want to go on all these hikes. We want to show them everything, and we just go. Eventually, we'll get out there, but we don't have to do that. Now, again, if I'm out in really nice weather, I want to go golfing. My wife would rather just kind of, be by the pool. She does want to hike every day, but again, that's just kind of normal exercise kind of stuff. So I guess we'll never get away from that. We'll always have 2 or 3 things.
JLee, that's a somewhat long way to say the Dunns were not invited to stay with the Sackett.
No, but that's good. It's like social distancing.
We had a room. I'm
joking.
Appreciate Katie and Ange wanting time for themselves away from their sons for the first time in a long time during the pandemic.
Easy
and so
now.
we just wanted to make sure they had their own space.
That was cool. Super cool.
All right, let's get to our first topic. And we've just been talking about my vacation and Katie's vacation the entire time. So, hey, I saw something about career rules and really the things that they don't teach you in school. So those who are going like through college, there's just no class to say, hey, we're going to teach you the unwritten career rules. And so I figured since we're around graduation time, internship time, we will give some feedback out there. I want to find out what the favorite career rules are for you guys. And when I talk about like the unwritten career rules, the things I'm talking about are, hey, don't leave a job until you have another job, right? Unwritten rule. Some would argue, no, if they're treating you bad, or if you're in one of these professions where you can get 100 jobs tomorrow, that's not a big deal. But for most people, it's harder to explain why you left a company to the new company. So don't leave a job before you have a job would be one for me. Be a job hopper. So the 1 year rule, right? Like you should be at a company for 1 year. I think JLee, you and I went back and forth on some text messaging about this as well. So those are a couple of examples of those unwritten career rules. If you guys think of overall for either young people coming into just graduating, starting their first job, or even like HR professionals, do you guys have a favorite unwritten career rule that you follow?
I got one.
Yeah.
It's not that I need to follow it, but it's like also a pet peeve. Like when I think about recruiter days, when you're offered a job and it comes time to start talking about start dates, like don't tell me you need like 2 months out, give your 2 weeks notice and come on over. Maybe I'll give you 3 weeks. You can have a week off between the old job and the new job. But like when people come to me with like long, like time, like I can't start until next date. Like,
I'm going to need 3 months, JLee, because I'm getting a $5,000 retention bonus.
Right.
JLee, you're in the vacation industry. Does that come with the territory, like in your industry?
About wanting people taking a break before they come work with us?
Yeah, I mean, an industry, hospitality, tourism, do you get more of that, do you think, than other people do?
No. Like, I mean, I haven't been recruiting in a long time, right? And so I'm thinking about even like my pre-Marriott days, especially it was a lot of younger hires that I would make. Like, you got to start. Go give your 2 weeks notice. Like I would literally say to people, go give your 2 weeks notice. You got the job. And I really mean go give 2 weeks notice, then come work for us right after that. 2 weeks.
By the way, 3 weeks notice is perfect, right?
2 to 3. Like
three is perfect, to be fair. Now, obviously you're from management and you want them. We're never going to let you anyway. Like refer to another podcast for that.
But Jay, But Jay, I like literally I just did a Sherm webcast on onboarding and pre-boarding, and one of my recommendations was to say, hey, if you really want to start like a new hire off in a really great way, actually pay them a week's ahead of time salary to take a week's vacation in between jobs. Because so often they don't take any time, right? You go 2 weeks, you end on a Friday with one company, Monday morning you're starting with the next company, and they never have like that kind of time. Or even if they were not working, let's say they were out of a job and then they finally got you to hire them, I still think there's stress of looking for a job and not having a job. Like you almost want to give them that decompression to say, you know what, enjoy a week on us, right? Here's some cash. Go, get yourself ready to come in and start working.
You know what you get into with that though, Tim, is that sounds great on the surface. But as soon as that word gets out to your internal team, who's been like slogging with the timsackett.co for the last like 5 or 6 years, they're like, what the F is this new development? And where's my money, Tim? That's what.
What about me?
What about me? What's in it for me, Tim?
What about me?
Hey, but by the way, let me go back to my statement.
Yes.
3 weeks is perfect because to JLee's point, you want them there quickly. To Tim's point, you're giving them some decompress time. And by the way, like dirty little secret, like from a professional level, is 3 weeks notice, irregardless of whether you can take days or not to your previous employer, is actually perfect as well. Because what that means is that you didn't just like catch them off guard and the 2 week counters on, you actually gave them more than what is normally thought as like standard, which shows that you care. So there's some middle ground in there. 3 weeks is perfect in a lot of different ways.
3 weeks plus a week of decompression, then you're 4 weeks out.
I'm not saying that though, JLee. Here's how it usually works though, right?
They'll say, I appreciate the 3. It would take 2.
Correct. That's it. So I come to JLee and I say, hey, this has been great, but I got to go. It's my, my family. I got family stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to give you 3. She tells me 2. And then everybody's happy. I get the week off.
You're right about that.
And Tim doesn't have to pay. Here's one I have, just in terms of the unwritten rules. I think the unwritten rule for me is all the stuff you have on your plate, and I've already told my kids this, all the stuff you have on your plate is not created equal. And you inherently know that. But let me tell you, the most important person to take care of is your boss. Because people without experience, that sounds like just logical. But people don't come out of the womb understanding that. They just don't. They get in it and they're like, hey, I've got this big job. Like all of these things are important. No, not really. Your boss and your boss's boss are the most important people to make sure that when you have 6 things to do and only time for 3 or 4, you make sure that their needs are met. That's just like a harsh reality.
Hey, this is William Tinka. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners. And these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids, HR pros. Mostly it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
KD, I actually, on my Red Branch Media notepad, 6 things to do. Shout out to Maren Hogan and her Red Branch team. When it was never show up your boss in front of their boss. Like that was one of my unwritten rules, which goes to what, kind of what you were saying. Because I've been in situations where you have like really young, aggressive people and they just can't wait to like, say, something was wrong or this is what I think. And their boss and their boss's boss is in the room and it's going to go against something their boss just said. Like, don't do that. Pro
tip. If you see your boss struggling, like get in there and do something nondescript to say that you owed your boss something that could have contributed to the result. So if JLee is just hammering Tim and I report to Tim, and I'm observing it, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable. I find like a nice like way to get in there and say, Tim, hey, one of the things that I owe you is that report on the Scrooge account, on the Scrooge account. Like I owed you that. I'm sorry I hadn't got that to you yet. Just to take, maybe JLee kind of like looks at me, but I took one for the team, and maybe it gets us on to the other thing. Goal.
Wow, you guys are just a bunch of brown nosers.
hey, yeah, like it's just we know how to move up the corporate ladder. JLee, you guys have any others?
JLee, what comes to mind? Do you have any others?
Oh, I'm still stuck on what a bunch of brown nosers you are.
JLee, see, the problem is, JLee, like I know your career, not great, but I know a little bit about your career. You do all of those things instinctually. So you don't even know that you're doing it because you are a professional, but not everybody like hits the environment like you hit the environment. By the way, you wouldn't be where you are today unless you inherently had some of the skills that you're making fun of Tim and I. Like you do those things naturally and you think everybody just does it, but they don't.
Yeah, you would never blow up your boss in a meeting in front of their boss.
Would you help your boss if they were struggling? The answer is yes.
Yeah, but not to the point where I'd like make something up to like offset. Like I think that's where I'm like,
I don't think you make it.
The Scrooge report is like true. Like I didn't give that to Tim.
But can we go back to one of the earlier ones Tim said around like don't leave a job after a year?
I was going to ask you about that, Jay. Yeah.
That used to be for me, like I think if I'm looking at resumes, like that's always a red flag for me. But someone had written something recently in like the CMO, like a chief marketing officer, there's a CMO magazine. Anyways, long story short, it was about, do we need to reframe the conversation around people who leave a job after a year? And is it maybe that instead they are really in demand? Is it that they're a job hopper or they're really in demand? Because someone is recruiting them after having only been in a position for about 11 months and 2 weeks, and then they gave their 2 weeks notice, and then it was a year. So like, which one is it? Is it that they're in demand, or like, are we part of the problem because we keep recruiting people who've only been in a job for 11 months? Like, who's to blame?
I do. So there's a part of that, right? But that's a tiny percentage. I do think what we see is if you have, let's say like an HR manager, right? Come on, we're not in that high demand. So if you see someone that worked a 1-year stint and then worked a 16-month stint and then worked a 10-month stint, like that's a problem. Even though someone else hired them, that's still a problem. I think where you go, hey, you worked a 1-year stint and then you put in 3 years or 5 years. Oh, and then, like there has to be some breakup there somewhere along the line. Because when you start to see that resume that has the 12-month, the 15-month, the 18-month, the 12-month, like there's an issue there.
How many times is too many for you?
Well, if I see more than 2 in a row, to me, that's a problem.
2 in a row.
Hey, so
now again, but also like Great Recession, pandemic, those things play into that for me as well. Like I'm not naive to the fact that, hey, I worked for X company and we laid off 90% of our staff. Like, okay, yeah, understandable, right? That's a pass. But I mean, you got to be careful on how many of those you start to like jack up together.
I would tell you that everybody has a miss in them, right? So even getting like lower than the 1 year mark in like with all the chaos and change that happens in business and corporate America, my standard rule is everybody has a miss. So I could see a really factual, like truthful, like candidate that says, hey, I spent 5 months here. I'd ask them about it. We dig in a little bit, but everybody like has a miss. JLee, I think when you start to see people that like make a move between the 1 to 2 year mark, just in rapid succession, it should always happen earlier in their career. Because then people they're going up the ladder by changing ladders, right? They're getting a promotion by like going to another company. Then, the other thing is like from a behavioral perspective, some people are junkies for change. And like I wrote a little bit about that in my book, 9 Faces of HR, available on Amazon. Ding. But I mean, that's kind of the thing. Some people are like naturally that way, but even
Jay,
if
what about you? What do you?
I mean, well, this is coming from someone who's never job hopped, so I'm trying to be more gracious.
But if you're looking at a resume, what's too many for you, or where does your red flag kind of meter
I'm probably somewhere on the same page as you. It's like more than 2 times in succession, I would be a little bit concerned. I'd want to really dig in. If it's a few times over the course of a 20, 30 year career, like whatever. It's like a blip, but
I always tell like young professionals that come to work for us, I always tell them, hey, so this is employment at will, right? But you should come, if we make you an offer, you should come expecting to spend no less than 2 years here, because it's going to take you 8 or 9 months to get ramped up before you really get successsimmons. I'd love to get 3 as a minimum. But again, I'm not presenting you with a contract. You are not Ben Simmons. Like it's employment at will. So away we go.
All right. Hey, I want to end with one last thing, and I'm going to throw this to JLee first, because over the last 2 weeks, I've had a bunch of conversations with heads of TA, heads of HR, even organizational leaders, and every single one of them, 100% were like, we're having an issue right now, and the issue is hiring, and the issue is specifically hiring hourly workers. And to the point where they've in 20 years or 30 years or however long their career was, they've never seen it this bad. Now, we know there's a lot of reasons, right? Pandemic, COVID, unemployment insurance, generational stuff. Like there's a million reasons why right now is tough. I'm wondering, JLee, from your guys' side on the Marriott side, are you starting to hear this panic come up through the franchisees, through the corporate ranks, where they're going, we cannot find people to work at our locations?
Oh my goodness. This is the topic of the day, every hour. Like it is not good. And, you had sent an article around what a McDonald's location was doing in Florida, just to get people to interview. I've had people send me, just some of the things that we're seeing. Like someone snapped a picture recently of a Wendy's they drove by, and the Wendy's windows had clings in it that said, come work with us today, we'll pay you tomorrow. But people are trying everything. There are hiring bonuses, retention bonuses, and places you would have never expected. And the thing I worry about is everyone's struggling to find talent right now, but I don't think this puppy's going to be over in October. I think people are banking on when some of these benefits run out come October, that there will be relief. I just don't know about that.
Yeah, there's Labor IQ had some data out this week that it was their expectation for 2021 is that in the U.S. there'll be 73 million hires made, right? Which is, there's obviously turnovers and more hires and blah blah blah. But if you take a look at the average hires for the last 5 years, it was hovering around 63 million. Obviously in 2020, much less than that. And so we have this giant swing of probably going from 40 or 50 million to 73 million overnight has really caused some organizations a lot of pain. Also, you put in demographics where you start to see that baby boomer number hit really big in 2021, 2022, 2023, some of the highest peaks of baby boomers leaving the workforce. And people go, well, yeah, but we're not hiring dinosaurs, Tim. That's not what we want. It's not about that. What it is, I think, is it's next step up hires, right? Where if I was somebody going, hey, I'm going to go take that $17 an hour job on Amazon, but all of a sudden now unemployment is completely crazy for people with my skill sets, which is kind of low skill, no skill. And then my buddy's, dad's company has, a position that's, I think, is a little bit better than working in a warehouse, and it pays $18 an hour or $19 an hour. Now I'm losing that hourly worker because now everything's getting ramped up because the demographics of we're losing so many people in the workforce. And I take a look at it and go, I don't think we're going to see a stop to this in 2022. Maybe sometime in 2023, we'll start to kind of level off. But I keep telling people, if it's bad now, you have no idea. This summer is going to be a nightmare for hiring. We saw when KD and when I was out in Utah, it was the week before KD got there, we actually were trying to stop at a McDonald's to get a Diet Coke coming back from hiring. And the manager at 2:30 in the afternoon was locking the doors because he did not have enough workers to keep the dining room open.
Yep.
crazy times.
It's going to affect business. It's totally going to affect business, what people can offer. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and at first we'll see like people will just have to pay, right? So the wages are going to go up. That'll definitely happen in the short term. But then we're going to see all the automation of, like we see in McDonald's. You're going to see this in hotels where you're going to have like, oh, here's a screen, just punch in that your, bam, your key flies out or your hamburger flies out. Like you're going to start seeing elimination through automation, which we've seen that through centuries, but it's going to get ramped up even faster. I think people are going to adopt that. Right now, you go into a McDonald's and you still see like the 5 screens that people can order from. And then you'll still see like 5 cash registers where people will just walk up to you and order, especially like older people. Eventually, those cash registers are gone. There'll be nobody there from that standpoint. KD, any insight from you and the ATL about hourly hiring?
I think it's tough. We talk a lot about hourly hiring. It's tough everywhere. It's tough on the white collar professional level as well. And, maybe more so in specific industries. Healthcare comes to mind than other industries. But I think this whole thing is tight. I think it really, anytime you get in a tight labor market, JLee referred to the article you sent us. Hey, come into McDonald's to interview. We'll give you $50.
Yeah, just to interview.
I think people really have to pull out all the stops, and I think they've got to have a lot of touch points. They've got to have retention things always in play to say, hey, if you get here, you get this. The tough part about it from an hourly perspective, and this is the same thing with with the minimum wage conversation, is that margins are incredibly tight in a lot of these businesses, right? So what happens when you do that? I don't think you have a choice. Hey, last thing I'll say about it, Tim, is where I live in Birmingham, there was a Wendy's that recently had a fire. So it goes down, it's on a major artery, and they rebuilt the Wendy's with probably 1/4 to 1/5 of the dining room, smaller footprint. They already knew from a ticket perspective on a major artery where the money was. And they, whether it's cost of real estate, an eye towards what's coming, Tim, they cranked that thing way down because they knew that there's not enough traffic in the dining room to warrant the costs. And they may as well take up space to prepare for the automation that you said, maybe 2 lines instead of 5. We don't really even need to, but we'll do it just for these people that are coming in. So all kinds of change coming, I think.
Yeah. And I know I've seen concepts. A few years ago, I saw a McDonald's concept that was no dining room, just a drive through. And again, it only lasted a couple of years and then went away. And again, I'm like, no one really wants to go into a McDonald's to eat. They go in there to use the bathroom and get a Diet Coke and get back on the road or whatever, right? No one, it's one of those crazy things where you're going, hey, how do we reduce this footprint and really just deliver what we're good at, which is, burgers, fries. Blah, blah, blah.
I think to your point, Tim, you start to see a bunch of stuff that adds up where the local side needs less labor in a lot of these concepts. One thing that's been around forever that is kind of points to this, we've all known this is kind of where we're heading, is when you drive into McDonald's is the one I know does this. They will outsource the order taking for the drive-through lane. So they will put that into a just-in-time call center where they have this labor pool, and that's a service obviously that those franchisees would pay for to not have to recruit locally.
That's a stab in my heart because with my first job at McDonald's, when I got promoted from birthday party hostess, it was right to the drive-through because I was quick and they were like, get these orders taken and the orders fulfilled under 2 minutes. And that's where the high potential talent went, is right to the drive-through line. Just your gut.
I think this is also generational. I do think when you take a look at Gen Z, and I have 3 Gen Z sons, Katie, you have a couple, I can take a look at their entire friend groups of all those boys, and so few of them actually have hourly jobs. They might go out and they might go referee games, or they might go do some things that kind of fit within their lifestyle, but there's none of them going to Target or a McDonald's or a Starbucks or whatever to try to get that job. And again, most of these young, the hourly workforce is a young workforce. And if you have an entire generation that looks at that and says no, that's a major problem long term.
Hey, Tim, you know who does not have an hourly recruiting problem? I'm sure they have problems, but they don't have problems like the rest of the fast food concepts, that's Chick-fil-A. I would tell you that around the kids who want an hourly job in our neighborhood, all of them flock to Chick-fil-A. And I
treated well, respected. I mean, again, like
always going to have Sunday off.
Yeah, rotate.
Hey.
Like to Tim's earlier point on one of these podcasts, rotate behind the counter out in melanoma land, like taking orders off the iPad. They rotate all that. I think they do a pretty good job of taking care of them.
So I think we'll continue to talk about this, and as we hear ideas of things that are working, we'll share on the pod for sure. But I know there's going to be a lot of pain over the next 12 to 24 months on hourly hiring. I don't see that changing a whole lot. So just wanted to end that on that bright note for HR Famous. You guys have a great week. For Chris Dunn and Jessica Lee, I'm Tim Sackett. HR Famous, we are out.